Easy guys, I put my pants on, just like the rest of you, one leg at a time. Except, once my pants are on, I make gold records.
What's going on, vinyl community and everybody out there in YouTube land? It's been Dr. Vinyl Mayhem. It's Kendall coming to you with the video I said I would do before the end of the year. That's right. It is after Christmas, and New Year's is just right around the corner, so I figured I'd get this video done and out before New Year's. First off, hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was great. I myself had a good Christmas with my family. So hope everyone else did as well. But this is my best finds, top finds, whatever you want to call it, of the year. This is all stuff that I picked up all throughout this year. Stuff that I was really stoked and excited about. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. First thing I'm going to show are some honorable mentions. First, these weren't like the tip-top finds. Some of it may have been some VCLT that was sent to me, and stuff like that. So first things first, I showed this one of my videos just a little bit ago. This was some VCLT sent to me by Vinyl Piper. Just a record you hardly ever see. Was only released in Europe, I believe. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, great soundtrack with the hype sticker. How awesome is that? It's in great shape. So very excited to have that. Found this actually on Record Store Day back in April at Lunchbox, and what makes this one so special is just not the rarity of it per se, but the fact that of what I spent on it. This is the Karate Kid. It's the first one. It's in the shrink with the hype sticker. Now this is about anywhere between a $30 to $50 record, believe it or not. At least in this condition. And I paid $7 for it at a record store, no less. So the fact that they had it priced that low, go figure. So this may actually be the find of the year just because I got it so cheap. Because this thing's in great condition. Like I said, shrink with the hype, records in superb condition. Like I said, go on Discogs and eBay and see what this is selling for. Compared to what I paid for it, yeah. So had to throw that in there. And then this one, somebody picked up and sent to me. I mean, I paid for it, but they knew I was looking for it, and I have not been able to find it. But this is the wrestling album. Since I got the wrestling album 2, I've been looking for a copy of this. This was sent to me from Concert Buddy Chance. Thank you very much. He's my partner in crime when it comes to wrestling. We both have that love of wrestling. We speak the lingo. We add it to our videos when he has me on Surface Noise. I think we're the only two that really get the references and use the references. So, but he sent this to me. Obviously, like I said, I did pay for it, but he knew I was looking for it and said, hey, and I said, yes, please. So anyway, those are my my honorable mentions. Now, stuff I went out and found in the wild. One I actually did purchase online, but I'll get into that in a minute. First and foremost, this may not be the most rare record or most expensive record. To me, it's rare just because you don't really see it that much in the wild. But I picked this up at the Noble Records. I guess it was the anniversary sale this past year. And I was just so excited to see it because you hardly ever see it. This is Not Afterburner. This is Recycler, I'm sorry. The album that came out in 1990, 91 maybe? ZZ Top. It had never been reissued until this year. It was reissued by Rhino and the High Fidelity, or Hi-Fi series, I should say. But I found an OG there, and honestly, I think I paid the same price that I would have paid for the Rhino Hi-Fi. So I was pretty happy. It was in great shape, or it is in great shape. This wasn't the most expensive record I bought that day, but it was the one that I probably have seen the least amount of. So I was very, very happy to pick that up. and add this to my ZZ Top collection, because again, originals of this you just don't see very often. So super excited that I was able to add this to the collection. This I was able to get via where is it? Where did I get it? Oh, Riverbend Records. Excuse me. And their anniversary. My buddy Brian Glick was there. He was first in line that day, of course. Not surprising. And he was able to grab some of the stuff for me, and this was on my list. This is Dead Kennedys. This is their first album. Now, this isn't a first pressing per se. This is a second pressing UK original, and the reason you know that is because it does not have the heads. They made them redo without the heads, but it does have the poster, so it's as close to a first pressing as there really is technically, because they just made them reissue it without the heads on the back. So it's technically, you could say, a first pressing, but it's in great. The cover's not in the most greatest shape, but the record itself is. Sounds great. Been wanting a copy of this. This is definitely my favorite Dead Kennedys album, so to have a copy with the poster, which is in great shape, very, very cool. So awesome to pick that up. This I was able to get from my buddy Doug at Big Love Vinyl. Check him out online on Facebook and biglovevinyl.com. This is a very cool Japanese pressing of Led Zeppelin 3. Definitely an upgrade for me on my other copy I had. The spinner does work. I'm not going to pull it out, but on the Atlantic label, of course, got the OB. It's got the inner. This thing sounds great too. A lot of top end for sure, which just really, really great sounding. Sounded better than the copy I had before for sure as well. But just not one you see very often. These Japanese pressings of Led Zeppelin records always look cool because the OB strips just really look cool. So I was very happy to pick this up. Thanks to Doug. He's been able to get me a lot of cool Japanese pressings. I've actually picked up quite a few this year. Toto, Billy Joel, Judas Priest, Blind Faith. But this one was probably, to me, the coolest one, so I decided to pick this one. So he also got me this. This is an original. This isn't one of those bootlegs, but this is Billy Joel's Souvenir. It's a promo copy. Of course, all of them technically were. These were sent out to people that were, I believe, one to radio stations, but I believe if you were a member of some kind of a fan club or some kind of a club, you would get these. And this came out before, I think before The Stranger. I don't remember, or after. Anyway, but just very, very cool. I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, as everyone knows. So to be able to pick this up was very exciting. And the fact that it's not one of those bootlegs, this is an original official pressing of this record. It's really cool because there's some live recordings. There's the promo stamp right there, by the way. Like I said, it is a white label promo. But there's some live recordings and then some songs from his earlier albums. So very cool to add this to the collection as well. And one more Billy Joel record that I did pick up. This is the one that I actually bought online. I couldn't pass up the deal. This is another Japanese pressing. This is my favorite Billy Joel record, An Innocent Man. And what's cool about this is that it's in the shrink. It's got the sticker. It's got the OB. It's got all the inners. And it's this master sound, which is, this is like a half-speed master, almost like, you could almost say it's like a MoFi too. Like, it is probably the best sounding record in my collection. Dead quiet vinyl. I mean, I've talked about this record a few times on some other videos. So, and I picked it up for a great price. This thing was in immaculate shape, still is. I've listened to it a few times. Like I said, my favorite record by him. So to have this tip top copy in this, I can't talk. To have this copy in tip top shape, so excited about it. So yeah, very cool. Um, Picked this up on record store day at Dylan's. He had a big drop that day, and this one I was excited about because I wasn't sure when I'd get a chance to see one. I thought most people that I know that have gotten these at like record shows, and so the fact that I was able to get it at Dylan's shop, I'm very excited. But this is Paul Pena. I actually know that Chance picked one up at the FMU, I think, in New York this year. He was a little jealous because I got the green label and he has the red label. It's the first pressing. This came from the VOA collection. Uh, I don't. This doesn't really bother me because it is what it is. Um, it's part of history. Cool. Um, but what most people have said is true. These records are in great shape. They've all been super clean, in great shape, and that's what matters the most when you're listening to records. Is when you play them, you want them to be in good shape, and these are in great shape. But this record's really cool. Folk blues singer songwriter is how I would describe this. He would go on to write Jet Airliner, which would be made famous by, of course, Steve Miller. His second album that he made, I don't think it was ever released on vinyl. I wish it would be. He since passed away. He was only in his late 50s. He was blind though. But this is just a great album. Very just everything on here is good. I don't think anybody would know this stuff. Like it wasn't really played on the radio, but just great sounding. When I was in Ohio for work, I of course went to a bunch of different record stores and picked up some great stuff. Used Kids was probably the one I went to the most. Right now, and I hate to do this. Other places the names are escaping me, but Used Kids just kind of an easy name to remember. But I picked this up at Used Kids. Bob Seger back in '72. This is probably one of the most collectible Bob Seger records there is, of course. Picked this up for a really good price. I was pretty happy. VG copy of the cover, but the vinyl itself is definitely a VG plus, I would say. But I picked it up for a good price. I've seen this go from 100, 125, and I paid less than that, so I was very happy to pick this up. Of course, this is the album that has the studio version of Turn the Page. It's also got a few covers on it, I think, too. Midnight Riders on this. Some other good stuff on here is Rosalie's on this. I Got Time's a good one. Neon Sky's a good one. It's just a good album in general. I mean, I just like Bob Seger, but very happy to add this to the collection. Again, it's a very collectible record. This one was one of my biggest wants on my want list for a long time. Finding it, I thought would be difficult because every time you see it online, it's a toast copy. I've still never seen like a very clean copy ever. And this copy, it's Jesse Ed Davis. It's his first solo album. If you don't know Jesse Ed Davis, he's a Native American. He's a great guitar player. He's played on many different records for Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, George Harrison, John Lennon, Taj Mahal. Many great artists. This record is amazing. Great blues guitar player, just phenomenal. This record, like I said, it's always toast. Now, the cover of this is got a lot of water damage. It's falling apart, really. I don't ever really take it out of here. The label, one side of the label on the record itself has a little bit of water damage, like, it's stained. But the record itself is actually in VG plus condition. Plays great. So normally this record is anywhere from 100 plus. VG copies or lower are like 50 to 60 bucks online. I paid 20 bucks for this. at Used Kid Records, and I just was flipping through the bins in the blues section, and there it was, and my heart stopped. Just because, again, I didn't think I'd ever see this record, and I did. And so, of course, I grabbed it as fast as I could and looked at it and said, for $20, this thing's got to be toast. And like I said, the cover, not so much. The record was clean. Very surprised. I even play tested it just to make sure. Of course, it needed to be cleaned, but I could tell just by looking at, okay, there's no marks on this. I can work with this. And for $20, I was going to take the gamble. And so, very, very excited to be able to have gotten this year. So, would I love a better cover? Sure, but right now this is going to make do. So yeah. The next three it's definitely a threefer. Last year I picked up a copy of the Cramps' first album, Songs the Lord Taught Us, promo, white label promo at Dylan's anniversary sale. Was very excited about that. Well, this year I wanted to get more of the Cramps albums, and I was able to. And this is how it worked out. Earlier in the year, I went to Lunchbox, posted this online. Psychedelic Jungle. This is an original U.S. copy. They had it on their wall of WoW, I guess you would call it, at a steal of a price. I was like, there's got to be something wrong with it for that price. So I'm like, maybe it's not an original, maybe it's a bootleg. I don't know. Everything checked out. It was super clean and VG Plus condition all the way around. So came home with me. Less than $100. I was very happy about that. So that was earlier in the year. Then later on, my buddy Doug, Big Love Vinyl, had Gravest Hits. Very excited about that. Picked this thing up. Original copy. So yeah, came home with me, mine as well. And then Dylan, this year at his anniversary sale, had Bad Music for Bad People. Been wanting a copy of this, but I didn't want the bootleg. I wanted an original. And this is a Canadian pressing on the IRS label. So I basically got all the Cramps records I wanted this year. I mean, like I said, last year I got the first one, and then was able to complete the collection. I mean, I know there's more Cramps records out there, but those are the ones that I really wanted. So, and then the last record I picked up that I'm going to show, I did pick up just a couple weeks ago. Was very excited to see this because never see this. Been impressed once on vinyl when it first came out back in 2011. And again, you just don't ever see it. And I got to see this artist on this tour. That is Weird Al Apocalypse. Yeah, his newer stuff, you just don't see on vinyl, like 90s newer. 90s and newer. Most of his stuff in the 90s was not pressed on vinyl. If it was in like other countries, but most of it wasn't. And then his last two albums were pressed on vinyl, but again, 2011 and 2014, I believe. This was 2011, and then his last album in 2014 was, which I do have a copy of that, picked up last year. But this was in one of his flip videos. Very surprised to see it. I was there when he opened. Well, no, right after he opened, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll get lucky and it's still there, and it was, and I picked it up. So very excited about that. Anyway, guys, everyone that watched, I hope you enjoyed my top finds, pickups of the year. I mean, I picked up a lot more great records, but these are the ones I figured I would showcase. I mean, I picked up the Black Crowes. I picked up some other great stuff. I'm going brain dead right now, but I mean, like I said, I picked up a lot of some really great Japanese presses that I, would have never picked up had it not been for my buddy Doug at Big Love Vinyl. I know there's tons more stuff, and it's been a really good year. Next year, we'll see. Maybe there'll be some more stuff, but I am trying to watch my P's and Q's when it comes to spending money, because I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of money. This is a fun hobby, but it can be an expensive hobby. So you got to be careful. You got to spend wisely. Anyway, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me that old thumbs up. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave me some comments. What were some of your best finds this year? Did you like what I found? If you did, great. If not, hey, maybe it's not for you. But anyway, guys, until next time, until next year, have a happy and safe new year, and keep spinning. Peace and love. Bye.